Hi guys, it's Melanie and welcome to today's video. This is probably one of the videos I'm most excited to create all year and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. I'm going to be showing you everything that I've knit and crocheted throughout the year. If I can try it on, I will try it on, but I will say, looking over it, I think I've realized I made a lot more things that were not wearable this year, which actually means I use it more because in past years I made a lot of clothing and I like rarely wore it, which is so embarrassing. And I always felt a little ashamed making these videos because they were kind of like having the realization that I don't wear anything I make. But anyways, also I never film when you can see this, but this is my half sanded nightstand that I need to finish in 2025. It's so ugly. But anyways, let's get started with this video. We're gonna be going in no particular order. I'm gonna show you a couple small things first though. I made the set of coasters. This is just one of them. It's a little stain. They're like scattered around the apartment right now because I actually use these so much. I feel like crochet coasters are such a good beginner crochet project. They're so quick, they're easy, they're versatile. There's so many different types you could make. They're also such a good gift, but I swear I use these so much. They're so easy to just like throw, and if you like stain one or mess it up, it's like easy to wash, but it's also really easy to make a new one, which I really appreciate. So I made probably 6 of these. It was inspired by this photo I saw on Pinterest, which was like placemats and coasters, but I only made the coasters and I kind of just improvised it based on the photo. I don't remember the pattern I created to make this, but I do want to make more of these because believe it or not, all like 6 of them are always in use. I also made these crochet like pot holders. I believe I made these before I moved into my apartment as I was like getting excited about my new apartment. These are probably the first thing I made once I moved here because I desperately needed coasters. But these pot holders are also super helpful. They're a great like counter like heat put under trays. I don't know what that's called, but I use it for that. I use it as pot holders. I use them pretty frequently and it's kind of the same thing. I think they're a great gift. They're really quick and easy to make. You can make so many patterns. I gifted a similar set in a different color scheme before and I think it makes such a good like housewarming or just like any kind of gift. My next little category is pillows. This is kind of like the next thing I think I might have made when I was moving into my apartment. I made these 2 flower pillows. It's called the Willow pillow and this is one of the few items I bought a pattern for. I feel like I usually try to like come up with stuff on my own or just YOLO it based off of a picture on Pinterest, and sometimes I'm okay at it. Sometimes I can just tell when it's like this, like I have no idea how to do this, and the pattern was great. I actually want to make some more of these probably. We ended up using these a lot more as like seat cushions because we eat a lot at our coffee table. They're also just like nice decor pillows. I think this one I did the brushing method, but honestly we use them so frequently that they got a little ratty, so I would probably make these again with a better quality yarn because we use them so much. This pillow I have a whole video on. It's just a cute little granny square pillow. It was really easy to make and I sewed the little pillow together inside of it, and it's kind of just like a statement pillow on our couch right now, but I just love granny square anything. It was inspired by this photo, but instead of blue I made it pink. I'm gonna look at crochet items list to make sure I'm not forgetting anything because there are a couple things I want to shout out that I just don't have anymore. So one of those things is this little crochet bunny. It was so cute. It was kind of inspired by Jellycat and I ended up gifting this to my mom for Christmas. I also made a larger one for my grandma. This was such a cute project. I would totally want to make more animals or even just like more bunnies. I'll link the video that I followed. It was a free tutorial online. I used it once the way she explained it with like the fuzzy yarn, which was my first time making like an actual stuffed animal, and it was way harder than I thought it was gonna be. Kind of hard to crochet with that fuzzy yarn stuff. Like I couldn't really see where any of the holes were, so it wasn't my neatest work, but I actually made the little keychain bunny version of it first and I thought that one turned out super cute. Oh my gosh, I also made my mom this crochet pouch and I lined it and everything, and I also want to make another one of these because I love how it turned out. I think it's such a cute nail polish bag or makeup bag or skincare bag. Also, I crocheted this tree skirt. I also filmed this whole process and made a cute little video because I was making this when we went on a little road trip to Santa Cruz. So I crocheted this at the beach, which was such a sweet, fun memory. Although it was such a fun experience making it, I will say it's not my favorite crochet item. This is one of the ones I was inspired by like this picture on Pinterest and I thought I could recreate it, but it was a little hard. But I think it looks cute with the tree. It's just not quite right, like the shape of it, but it's okay. It's okay. I think the only other thing on this list that I don't have physically here with me, it's somewhere in this apartment, but I don't know where. I think it's shoved like in the back of my closet in a box or something, because this is like, all right, this is not my proudest moment, but this was like a work in progress. I started it, I think, right before I moved, and I brought it with me, and I just never picked it up to keep working on it. I think partially because it was so hot here when I moved, and this is like a very chunky sweater. I was just not motivated at all to make it because I knew I wasn't going to wear it at all. But honestly, it was like so neat. Like, I think it's coming together, and I definitely want to pick it back up again because I thought it was looking so good. I want to do a video where I finish my work in progress. Why does that sound so weird right now? But I definitely want to do a video where I do that. All right, I think that is pretty much everything on my list that I don't have here. I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget those. A couple other smaller things that I made but I use very frequently are this little Kindle case. It was inspired by this picture. I think it was a different Kindle case, but instead of making it like a button or the top, I just put a little bow on the side. I use this all the time. It's great for traveling and stuff so that my screen doesn't get scratched. I also made this little lemon pouch. I originally made a smaller coin pouch version and I gave it to a friend, and I loved it so much that I wanted to make myself a larger version to be a makeup bag. I think it's so awesome because, first off, it's adorable. I love anything fruit inspired, but I love that it opens so wide and you can see all of your makeup in there. I really want to make more of these in different fruit patterns. Like, I've really been wanting to make a blueberry version and a strawberry version. I also made these. Very proud of these, and I know I'm going to be using these for years to come. This was my first time making hexagon granny squares, and honestly, I'm so happy I did because I know people use them for other patterns like cardigans and bags, and they were really easy to make, and I think they look very fancy. So I made both of these in the span of maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. There is also a YouTube tutorial I followed for this, so I will link that below. It was also an amazing tutorial for free. This crochet blanket, I made a full YouTube video, so I'll link that, but I also just posted so much about this because it took so much time and energy and like tears, because the thing is, I used 2 different shades of white on this and like could not tell until I was on my very last day of making this. Despite that, you can't really tell the difference between the shades of white, and I think it looks so pretty. I'll show you different clips because I will not be able to fit this whole thing in here, but it was inspired by, once again, a photo from Pinterest that I fell in love with, and I knew I wanted to make this one even before I moved into my apartment. I originally thought it was going to be like a quilt for the bedroom, but honestly, we kind of just use it on our couch out in the living room. The colors were inspired by the rug in the living room, so I think they look really nice and complement each other well. I also made a little like talk through TikTok tutorial on how I made this, so I can link that below too because I got a lot of questions about it. But this was the first crochet blanket I actually finished. It was very simple to make because I was just making these very large squares out of double crochets, so it was a very mindless thing that took a very long time, but I'm so happy because I think it turned out great. I honestly don't know how people make multiple blankets, because I think if I filmed this video at the end of the year and I only worked on crochet blankets, I'd probably have 2 or like at most 3 things to show you guys. While I was still at home, I crocheted this granny store cardigan. I also have a YouTube video on this, so I will link that, but this is one of the only items that I made that I brought with me through the move. I think this one turned out really good, which is also embarrassing because I never wear it. I get so scared to ruin these things that I poured so much time and energy into. Instead, they just sit in my closet. This is the Pinterest photo it was inspired by, and I almost feel like I'm cheating a little by including this because I think I started this back in 2023. It had over 100 mini granny squares in it, and it was a very thin yarn, so it took a really very long time to make, but I'm happy with how it turned out. I think it's really beautiful and I want to wear it more. This is a scarf that I made pretty recently on a trip to Boston, and I also have a video of me making this. It was inspired by this photo on Pinterest that I fell in love with, so I tried to make it pretty identical. I love the colors, I love everything about it. I was so delusional because my goal with that video was to crochet this entire scarf while I was in Boston. Guys, I was in Boston for 3 full days. I probably got to like maybe here. Also found out much too late, but there is a pattern for this scarf. I will link that down below also. I did not use it. I just improvised based on the Pinterest photo, but if I knew about this pattern, I definitely would have done it and it would have saved me a lot of time. All right, I think the last two things I have to show you are bags. First off, I have this bag that I also have a video on. I believe I have a written out pattern that's linked in that video too. I like how this bag turned out a lot. I will say it's not as like sturdy or structured as I want it to be. I think that's because I meant to line it and I never did. Now that I remember it, I will make sure I line it this year. I really like the yarns I use and kind of like the speckled pattern. I was using like 2 threads, I think, of cotton yarn when I was making this. It is pretty stiff and durable and it does have a zipper on top. I do still use this one. I just make sure I'm not bringing anything in it that will like slip out or like poke out. This bag is probably my very neatest work from the year and I'm very, very proud of this one. I don't use it a whole bunch, but I also feel like I don't carry around super massive bags unless I'm like grocery shopping, and I'm obviously not gonna put it in here. I think this turned out really great. It was once again inspired by a Pinterest photo that I improvised on, and I added my own little touches because I lined the inside with this very nice thick canvas and I added so many different pockets. There's 3 on this side and then there's 2 on this side. I am so proud of this one. I think it turned out great. I filmed the process of this one in a 24-hour crochet challenge and that was also so much fun. If I were to give an award to my favorite item of the year, it probably would be this or the blanket. Or the scarf. Hi guys, so I'm clearly at home in my childhood bedroom because I leave some of the stuff that I like crocheted here since I was living here for like the first half of the year. I have 4 things that I left here. They're some of my larger pieces, so I'm excited to show them to you. First off, I wasn't really sure if I should show this because it was kind of like a did not finish project, but I do plan on eventually finishing this and I feel like I have a good at least half of it done. That is this crochet blanket. I think this was the first blanket I ever attempted to make, and honestly, as soon as I started like stitching it together, I wasn't loving it. A big part of that was because I did not use the same like weight of yarn. I think I was just like learning a lot, and this was kind of like a, not like a throwaway piece, but it was a piece where I like would mindlessly crochet squares just because I didn't know what to do, and I just really did not put a lot of thought into like the colors I was using and stuff, which I think is probably the biggest reason that I'm not a fan of it and then I'm just like not motivated to finish it, is the colors and the fact that like the weights are different, so it's kind of like lumpy, and I also didn't block anything. So all things that were very avoidable and all my fault. Nonetheless, I still have it folded in my room and it's kind of like decor. Honestly, I don't even remember when I made this. I think I made it pretty quickly. I obviously wouldn't wear it like this. Mostly wear this one or think of it as like a cover up. So this is just for try on purposes. I don't think I followed a pattern or anything. I think I just like looked at a picture and it was pretty simple, but I was seeing a lot of this kind of like, I don't know if it's called eyelet, but a lot of these, that reminds me of like a doily. That's this one. I think it's a cute summer cover up. It would also be really cute if I made it longer and it made it more of a slip dress. All right guys, it's funny that I left both of my arguably larger projects here and they're both knit pieces, and it's weird because I do like how both of them came out and I am pretty proud of both of them. However, I don't really wear them. I am ashamed to say. I do wear this one. I've worn it a couple times. I made a whole video on this one. I will link the pattern I followed. It was like a free YouTube tutorial, and honestly the tutorial was great. I remember feeling like I learned so much because it was the first sweater I knit in the round, and like the first sweater I actually learned how to like increase and decrease and actually knit something other than a square, because I do this thing where I like just make squares and then try to figure out how to make it into the shape of clothing. But this one, I actually challenged myself to do the increasing and decreasing and make actual sleeves. I did my own like stitching and my own design here. It was very much inspired by this photo I'll include that I saw on Pinterest that I was in love with. I've worn this a couple times. I just think the biggest issue is that the collar is super duper stretched out. This sweater is also a very, very heavy sweater. I think if I packed it in a carry-on suitcase, it would genuinely take up half of the suitcase. Finished this one in the end of February. Now it's like the end of December when I'm filming this, and I feel like I've come kind of full circle where like the beginning of the year I was really determined to learn how to knit and I was doing knitting projects, and then the whole year I went crazy crocheting, and now that it's the end of the year, I'm like, I really want to learn how to knit again. This one was inspired by a photo I will include. Finished this one January 30th. I think I started it much earlier because it was one of those projects where I would just knit squares and boxes. That took me so long, and then I sewed them all together. I kind of stitched it all together with this like very stitchy look, and it was inspired by this like very expensive sweater that I was very in love with but would never spend that much on. I recreated it and I think it looks same vibe. I just like don't wear it. Maybe I'll wear it tomorrow. Whenever I film these videos and I openly acknowledge how much I don't wear stuff, then I'm like, I'm so embarrassed that I spent like months working on this and then never wear it. And then I'm like, okay, because I'm talking about it now, I have to wear it tomorrow. That's not what this video is about. It's about showing what you created in the year. But anyway, at a certain point, I kind of realized I make a lot of stuff with fibers that I don't really like on my skin, or like get really staticky when I wear them. That was kind of hard because I spend so much like money and time, and then like realize how annoying it is to wear acrylics sometimes. Visually, I feel like I was pretty proud of the dupe I created with no instruction and only knowing how to do a basic, I think it's called stockinette, I don't even know, like the very most basics of knitting. I felt like this didn't turn out too bad. I will say my goal for this next year is to learn how to knit like better than this. Like read a pattern, knit something that I will actually wear and will be a staple in my closet. Those are the things that I have at my home in Washington. All right guys, that is everything that I knit or crocheted in 2024. Most of it was crocheting. I'm a crochet girl at heart, but just looking over all of the things I created this year, I'm so proud and I'm so happy that I have so much to look over. I think it's so cool that you can like deep dive into the different items I made during different parts of my life in 2024. It's a little nostalgic. It's a little sentimental. Based on everything I made, my goal for 2025 is to improve with knitting and practice a lot with knitting. So hopefully you guys can keep me accountable, and in next year's video, I'll have a lot more knitting pieces to show you. Other than that, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for being here, for watching this video, for supporting me through everything. It means the world. And thank you for crafting with me. As always, if you're making something during this video, tell me in the comments. I would love to chat with you about it because you guys genuinely inspire me so much. If you guys want to see more crafting, knitting, crocheting content or anything, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much again for being here, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.